Hello everyone, I am Parikshit Saikia and welcome to another very exciting session on Unacademy CAT-alyst. In today's session, we are going to talk about a struggle which probably a lot of you are facing. You are in the 80 percentile range and you need to ensure that you move up to the 95 percentile at least on the D-Day. And trust me, this is not difficult. It is just that these last 10 days you should be working smart. And in this video of 15 minutes, I'm going to talk about these smart techniques that you should practice in this last 10 days to ensure that you give your percentile the much needed boost. But as always, before I get started, the first thing I'm going to tell you is give me 5 seconds to ensure that I'm streaming live before we get started with today's session. Okay, I think we are streaming live and we are good to start. A small notification at the beginning of the session. On Unacademy, we are conducting a revision marathon, right? Just before your CAT, the much needed revision. So just make sure that you join the revision classes. All your concepts will be clarified, right? So the revision classes on Quant starts on November 28, 7 p.m. November 20, 7 p.m. So make sure that you join in live. Let's get started with today's session. Okay, the much needed boost that we need to talk about. Remember, if you are in the 80 percentile and if you need to move to the 95 percentile, think about it. It's not very difficult. It's not very difficult. Why? Because we just have 40 minutes in every section now. 40 minutes per section. Will you agree? 40 minutes per section. It means the difference between a 80 percentiler and a 95 percentiler probably is just going to be 2 to 3 questions per section. 2 to 3 questions per section. Yes? So in these 10 days, what you just need to ensure is you try to get around 3 questions per section more correct than what you are getting at this point of time. And trust me, this is very, very, very doable. Okay? So just 3 is what I need per section. Now I'm going to take up this session, right? Section wise. So first, let's talk about verbal section. First, let's talk about the verbal section. Okay? How to ensure that you score well in the verbal section. Now, what I would definitely suggest in this last 10 days is put a lot of emphasis on identifying what you are getting correct already and what you are getting wrong. Is it that every time you read a passage which is a bit lengthy, okay, as an example, or probably a passage which is on philosophy, you get it wrong every time? So in this last 10 days, you need to identify what are your strong and weak areas in verbal. As an example, what I would suggest is for the next 5 days, whenever you read a passage, let's say you are trying out 3 to 4 passages per day. 3 to 4 passages, okay, per day. Now what you need to ensure is prepare an Excel sheet at this point of time. Prepare an Excel sheet. Now where should you be practicing these 3-4 passages per day that you intend to do over the next few days? From mocks, from mock papers, or if you have not solved the recent CAT papers 2019, 18, 17 yet, it could be the recent CAT papers as well. Mocks or CATs. So what you do? Prepare an Excel sheet, okay? In the Excel sheet, just find out, or rather I would say just mark some columns. Let's mark a topic, let's say philosophy. Let's mark a topic, let's say sports. Let's mark another column, let's say literature, okay? And so on, and so on. Let's say another one is, let's say fiction, something like this, and so on. So you prepare a few columns, okay? And then underneath every column, mention your accuracy percentage. Accuracy percentage. Also, the row wise, you can mention, let's say every row, okay? This is an Excel sheet. Imagine this to be an Excel sheet. So every row also you note it down. Let's say inference based questions, okay? Uses based questions, okay? The type of questions, okay? Tone of the passage. So something like this, prepare this in the row wise. So what you do is you mark, let's say every mock you give, or every passage that you practice over the next few days, okay, Just mention that you mark your accuracy here. Let's say you mark, today I practiced four passages, and you know what? I got 3 inference based questions correct out of 5 questions. Likewise, prepare this Excel sheet for, let's say, 4-5 days. At the end of the 5th day, what you do is come back and analyze the areas which you are getting correct and the areas which you are getting wrong. Now, why is it very important? This is because the human mind is comfortable with some topics. Let's say I'm crazy about sports. So many a times what happens is, when I understand the subject very clearly, I'm comfortable with it, and hence I tend to get such passages correct. The questions, the answers to such passages correct. Now it means on the exam day, if there are, let's say, 4-5 passages and you are confused which passage to select, right? This Excel sheet will give you some backup. Will have data to give you an informed decision. You know, every time you do a philosophy passage, you tend to get 70 to 80% of the questions correct. So what you should do on the exam day, let's say you get one passage on philosophy and another passage on, let's say, literature, but you know that your accuracy in literature is very poor. What will you do? You will select the philosophy passage. So please spend the last few days identifying. It's not just about studying, right? It's rather about identifying your strong areas. Also, these last few days, okay, especially in comprehension or, let's say, para jumbles, you are getting a question incorrect. Let's say there are 4 options and you know what? You marked it option 1, which is incorrect. The correct answer is actually option 2. So you first, when you read the solution, first read why the one you marked is incorrect. That is very important. Do not read the correct solution immediately. First, emphasize why you got it wrong. Think about it. Remember, maths is very easy. 2 plus 2 is 4. Here it's not like that. You need to focus on it. Okay, why did I mark 1 and why is 1 incorrect? What is the author saying? What is the viewpoint of the author which makes option 1 incorrect? And what is the gap between my understanding and the author's explanation? Do you get the point? So spend a couple of minutes understanding on why you got something wrong rather than reading the correct answer immediately. Once you are satisfied, okay, option 1 is incorrect because of so and so reasons, and you are able to convince your mind, then read the correct answer. Trust me, the last few days, it is very, very, very important that you are able to identify your weak areas, especially in verbal, because you know what, verbal, a lot of you, for you, you know, it's guts. You don't have a solid reason, but you say, it my guts feeling that question statement B is the correct answer. So make sure there is a reason to justify that guts. Okay. So this is about verbal. Next, let's move to the Quant section, and I will come to LRDI last. Next, let's move to the Quant section. Okay, the Quants. Now, Quants, it is a 40-minute paper. Okay, so what I would suggest is break your time into 2 rounds. Round 1 and round 2. Round 1, try to have it for around, let's say, 15 minutes. 10 to 15 minutes. And round 2 for 25 minutes. Okay. When I say round 1 is of 15 minutes, I am trying to tell you in the first round, you need to ensure that you pick up all questions which are very short, probably 1 or 2 lines. And you are familiar. You know what? When I say familiar, it's something you have already done. You must have practiced hundreds and thousands of questions. So obviously there is a very good amount of chance that something which you have already done, something exactly same or very similar, turns up on the exam day. So anything which is a 1-liner or a 2-liner, just pick it up and solve it. Out of the 20, let's say experts are presuming that anywhere between 22 to 25 questions you can expect in your quants. Okay. Out of these 25 questions, even if you are able to get, let's say, around 7 to 8 correct, okay, in the first 15 minutes, you know what? It will be a very, very big boost to your morale. Very, very big boost to your morale. So first 15 minutes, just pick up those 1 or 2 lines or topics or questions which you have already done, and the same question is repeating exactly same. So this should be your criteria. Also, in the first round, you need to mark a few questions for review. Let's say question number 7. You know what? Question number 7 is from time, speed and distance. This is your favorite chapter. But on the exam day, let's say the question which came from time, speed and distance was of 4 or 5 lines. Let's say was of 5 lines. But you know you can do it. You know you can do it. What you do? Because it is of 5 lines, you will take some time to solve this. So what do? You mark this question for review. Mark it for review. Mark it for review. So moment your round 1 is over, you already have another 3-4 questions at least, minimum 3-4 questions at least, which you have marked for review. And when you come to round 2, it's not a blind game. It's not like you are searching, okay, all unattempted questions will again go in order. No, whatever you have marked for review, please come back and try to solve them. Let's say at this stage, you are able to solve at least another 3-4 questions correct. Another 3-4 correct. You know what? The good part is round 1 plus whatever you have marked it for review. Around 12 questions you have already got correct. And trust me, if you are able to get around 60% of the questions correct in any competitive exam, your percentile is going to be very, very high, close to a 98-99 percentile. At this stage, probably 25 minutes are already over. 25 minutes are already over. Let's say 27 minutes. You still have another 10 to 12 minutes left. 10 to 12 minutes left. In the last 10 to 12 minutes, you are trying to figure out another 2, 3, 4 questions which you will try. You are definitely not sure you can do it. But in this last 10 to 12 minutes, the target is to solve another 3 to 4 questions. Right? So 4 questions probably, because 4 into 3 is 12 minutes. So basically what you are doing, you are dividing your time smartly. Round 1, first 15 minutes, all 1 or 2 liners and familiar questions. Questions which are repeating something you have already done before. Just pick 2. And then in round 1, you are also flagging a few questions for review. Example, let's say permutation combination, time, speed, distance. These are your strongest area. So flag them for review. So moment the first 15 minutes are over, you are coming back and solving the flag for review questions. By this time, 25 minutes are over and your target should be to solve around 12-13 questions. And anyway, last 10 minutes are still remaining. So you have got to solve another 2-3 questions correctly. 2, 3, 4, whatever. And remember, you are going to search for them. You have to search for them. So this is going to be a bit difficult. But trust me, the major part of the game is over, because you have already solved 50% or more than 50% of the questions correct before the last 10 minutes started. Right? So anything that you do now is a bonus. And because of that, the pressure on you will be quite less. Trust me, this strategy does wonders. So make sure that you follow this strategy. And what I'm telling you is from years and years of experience that this strategy actually works. Next I will talk about the LRDI section. Now in the LRDI section, right, unlike quants, the quants is you can definitely expect 1 or 2 liners. But in LRDI, there are no 1 or 2 liner sets. No 1 or 2 liner sets. Here, your strategy definitely in the first 1 to 2 minutes. Your strategy should definitely be in the first 1 to 2 minutes. 1 or 2 minutes, not more than that. Okay? To have a glance at all the sets. Have a glance at all the sets. When I say all the sets, it's just about probably 5 clicks. It's just about 5 clicks. Why do I say 5 clicks? Remember, question 1 to 4 could be from set 1, So by default, you land here. Then you will click on set 5. Then you click on set 9. Now, when I say click, I only mean to say, have a glance, find out the topic, nothing more than that. You don't have to read the entire thing. Have a glance, okay, this is a set where there are 4 conditions. A set where there are 4 conditions, just 4 conditions. Condition A, B, C, D. Set number, let's say 2. And set number 6 is, let's say, you know what? A pie chart. A pie chart. Now, for obvious reasons, pie chart is something that you have already done before. Percentage increase, percentage decrease. So at the end of the first 1.5 to 2 minutes, you know what? You are gonna come back and solve. At the end of 2 minutes, you decide that I'm gonna start with set number 6. I'm gonna start with set number 6 because that is something I know and I have done before. I am comfortable with. So that means these are traditional DI or LR sets. Traditional. When I say traditional, I basically mean something you have already done before. Traditional DI, LR. Now, in your LR section, again break your timer please. Initial 10-15 minutes, pick up 2 sets. Initial 15 minutes, pick up 2 sets. Okay, just 2, not more than that. If you are able to do 2 also, it would be a big bonus. 2 complete sets which are easy. Probably there is another set on Venn diagram. You know you are very good in Venn diagram. Just solve it. So first 15 minutes, you are focusing on 2 easy sets. This is done. Okay. 2 easy sets you will try to solve in the first 15 minutes. And you know what? The last 10 minutes is also very important. The last 10 minutes should be on something which is very calculation intensive. Calculation intensive. Trust me. You should spend the last 10 minutes on a calculation intensive set. Or for that matter, let's say there was a LR puzzle where there were 4 questions. You know what? You understood how to solve this puzzle. You got question number 1 and 2 already. But 3 and 4 requires a lot of calculations. Last 5-10 minutes, come back and try to solve this set. Now, try to solve the remaining questions in the set. Now, why do I say so? Because you know what? Moment you see the timer, okay, getting 9 minutes, 8 minutes left, 7 minutes left, your brain will not work fast. So the last 10 minutes, if you are starting something which is conceptual based, which is very lengthy, chances are that you might not be able to solve it because your brain is under a lot of pressure. So the last 5 to 10 minutes, rather come back and solve something which was incomplete, which you have already solved halfway, or probably there is one set which is a lot of calculations. It is asking which is the largest percentage increase. 10 into 10 matrix, they are asking you a lot of calculations. Concentrate on these calculations and try to solve such questions. I keep in mind, this is from my own experience. Last 10 minutes, if you try to pick up something which you have never done before, it needs your mind to think. Your mind will not be able to think much. So hence, the first 10-15 minutes are for the easy sets. Last 10 minutes are for calculation. And the remaining 15 minutes is where you do the hit and trial. When I say hit and trial, basically sets which are something which you have never seen before, sets which you want to give it a try, and without actually trying, you don't know whether you will be able to solve or you are not able to solve. So your first 15 minutes and the last 10 minutes is done and dusted. That is fixed. Only these 15 minutes you get to play. So play in this 15 minutes, try out sets, because a lot of questions in LRDI, unless you actually start solving, writing the puzzle, drawing a table, you do not know. But your first 10 and the first 15 and the last 10 are already predetermined. Now at this stage, I have talked about all the 3 sections. Now something more I want to focus on. Where should you practice? From where should you practice? These last 10 days, right? Last 10 days, it is very, very important that you revise. You should not be concentrating on mocks at this point of time. When I say mocks, I mean new mocks. You definitely revise all questions, all PDFs, books, whatever you are doing, and all mocks. It is from this source that you should actually be practicing in this last 10 days. There is no point writing a new mock where just 7 days or 8 days are remaining and then lowering your confidence. Just revise and revise probably something you have done in the month of June, July. You don't even remember the mock questions. It is high time that you revise. There is no point starting something new unless you have actually remembered and revised what you have already studied. Got it? And definitely prepare an Excel sheet with a formula, with formulas, okay? So that one day before your exam on the 28th of November, you can revise. Formulas will probably mostly be from geometry theorems, mensuration formulas. So any formula you think you need a revision one day before your exam, just have a sheet, prepare an Excel sheet or prepare a piece of paper. So this piece of paper, you can even see it the morning before your CAT. So all the formulas are there in one place. Otherwise, trust me, the last day is going to be very difficult. You cannot be roaming about from pages to pages looking for those formulas. Okay? Don't worry, CAT is just another exam. I am sure in your life you have already given so many exams, and CAT is just one exam. In case the CAT doesn't go well, don't worry. It's not the end of the world. You have IIFT, you have the ZAT, you have the SNAP, you have the NMAT, you have the Maharashtra CET, you have the TIS. Every exam is coming up after the CAT, right? So life is not that tough. Do not take unnecessary pressure. So stay away from pressure and keep preparing. In case you have liked my video, do please hit the like button. That's a request because that motivates me to make more and more videos. So till the next time we meet, goodbye, stay safe and keep preparing.